Every employer has policies and procedures for the employees. It's just what we do, right? But let's say you need an exception. What's that going to look like?
Our personal commitment to being a highly effective and successful communicator should never stop. We have sole responsibility for the words we choose and the approach we take. Join me as we discuss various topics that can help us be outstanding communicators.
Okay, so we're going to talk about exceptions today to policies and procedures. Now, this does not apply if you work in a union environment. That's different. But if you don't work in a union environment and you are in need of an employee policy exception, what do? Right? So, first off, I'm just going to ask the question, what have you delivered? What value have you contributed to your employer up to now? Are you a heck of a great employee? Do you get the job done? Do you get the job done and then do even more? Or are you the bare minimum employee? Bare minimum employees are difficult to really think through from an employer's perspective and make exceptions for. That's the reality. Whether you like it or not, it's the reality. You don't know when life is going to throw you a curveball, and maybe you do need an exception in the future. But what you do know is that you have a job that you are committed to, that you want to contribute to. So go ahead and do that so that when you get a curveball, you do have the ability to go and speak to your boss or speak to HR and say, this is my situation. I'm wondering if it would be at all possible for you to consider making an exception in this particular case. They may or may not be able to do something different than what the policy states. But the very first thing that person is going to do while you are speaking to them is immediately be thinking about the value that you have added or the contributions that you make to your place of employment. And I'm just letting you know, it's pretty logical that if in fact you do contribute consistently and you do a great job, that the odds are more in your favor than not. I'm not about to say you'll get the exception. I'm not, because I don't know what the dynamics are with your employer. But I am saying if you have an exception that you need to request, you need to go in very realistic about the work and the contributions that you've made before asking for that. The second thing is you need to do this privately. Do not do it publicly. That's not a good approach. It's not a good strategy. Set up a meeting and have the conversation. Be respectful, be professional, and let them know what the situation is and what you're asking for. And then, out of respect, ask them if they could consider it and get back to you the next day or by the end of business that day or in a couple days. But don't demand or expect an immediate response. That's not professional. It's not respectful. Give them a moment to think about it. Because making an exception for one person is very, very different for your employer than you just asking for it. They have a lot of employees that they need to think about. They also have a job that they have created policies for specific reasons. They've got a different picture than the one that you have. So you need to give them time to think about it. The last thing I would say is don't demand it. Don't go in and threaten, if I can't have this, I'm going to need to quit. It's not collaborative. If you truly do want to continue with the relationship that you have with your employer, then be open-minded, be a great communicator, and explain the situation and why you're asking for what you're asking. If an exception is able to be made, then my strong suggestion to you is to align with your employer on what the message would look like to other employees. Get on the same page. Ask them, what would you like me to communicate if I'm asked? But work together on it. You don't want to leave the office, fire off an email to your team saying, look what I was able to do. I demanded an exception and they gave it to me. No, it's not a good call for your career. As long as it's honest and truthful, that's definitely a win. But it also needs to be really respectful and professional for your employer. So when or if you need to ask for an exception, think it through. Start with you, your value, your contributions, and what has that been up until this moment. And then really think through how you're going to approach it and be respectful. I know you can do this. You've got it.